There we go. All right, onto the ice. Well, hello everyone. My name is Ursula, and I'm here to share my love of polar bears with you. This is my very good friend Bjorn. He's an adult male polar bear, and he's fully grown, or at least I very much hope he is. Now, you may well be wondering, what is an adult polar bear doing surrounded by all of these rather delicious looking people? Is it safe? Well, I'm here to tell you that it is. I'm going to put your minds at rest. He's not a wild bear. I've had him ever since he was a very small cub, so he's very used to people. He's doesn't mind me being close to him, or even giving him a little bit of a pat on the head. Good boy. Or maybe even a little bit of a tickle behind the ear. Oh, he rather likes that. And he's had a massive lunch, so don't worry. Now, this is a rare opportunity to get a little bit closer to a polar bear than you normally would want to in the wild. They are fearsome hunters in the wild, but as I said, he is a tame bear. And maybe, if you're feeling brave enough, a little bit later on, you can have a go at giving him a tickle behind the ear yourself. But before we do that, I do just want to check that we've got our polar bear facts straight. So I'm going to start by testing your polar bear general knowledge. Let's see how we do. Now, who can tell me where in the wild polar bears live? Does anyone know? Oh, your hand went sort of tentatively up there. What do you think?
In the Atlantic.
In the Atlantic. Not quite right. It sounds a little bit like that. Anyone else have an idea? Where do they come from? The Arctic. Very well done. Yes. So close. The Arctic, otherwise known as the North Pole, right at the top of the world. It's a land almost entirely covered in ice and snow, and it's absolutely freezing there. It gets down to about minus 40 degrees on a regular basis. Minus 40. It's quite hard to imagine how cold minus 40 degrees is. But to give you an idea, if I was in the Arctic, dressed as I am, and I was drinking a boiling hot cup of tea, and I spilt it on the floor, it would actually freeze before it got to the floor. Frozen in motion, so it's absolutely freezing. But can you see that polar bears are really well designed, good boy, for living in such environments as this? Can you see he's got really thick fur? He's actually got 2 layers of fur, and he's also got a big wadge of fat underneath there to keep him warm. So they're very happy living in freezing temperatures. Okay, so that was question number 1. Question number 2. Why don't polar bears eat penguins? Why don't they eat penguins? Let's have a think about this. What do you reckon?
Because they like each other?
Because they're very good friends. I would love to say that that's right. Very much so. Not quite right. Anyone else? Why don't they eat penguins?
It's because that if polar bears don't eat penguins, they're in the wild, so why would they eat penguins?
That is a very good question, indeed. Why don't they eat penguins? Let's have one more idea, and then I'll maybe give you a clue. Do you have an idea? Why don't they eat penguins?
Because there's no penguins.
A round of applause for this young man here. There's no penguins in the Arctic. They live in the Antarctic, don't they? Right at the bottom of the world. So they never actually get to meet. Well done. Whew. What do they eat if they don't eat penguins? Does anyone know what a polar bear's favourite food is?
Fish.
Fish, a good guess. Let's think about something a little bit larger than a fish. What do you think? Anyone else have an idea?
Arctic fox.
Ah, Arctic fox, bigger than an Arctic fox. Am I going to go to my special polar bear knowledge boy?
Seals.
Seals! Polar bears eat seals. Oh, I think he knows the word. And the reason why they eat seals is because seals have got a lot of fat on them. It's a special fat called blubber. And polar bears need to eat an awful lot of blubber in order to stay warm. Okay, so it sounds like we know a little bit about polar bears. This is good. So I think we can move on. Now, I did say before I want to give you a chance to give a bit of a scratch on the head and say hello for yourself. But I do just want to check that he's in a sociable mood, because you never can tell with bears. So, I think what I'm going to need is a very brave and a very calm, brave plus calm volunteer, stroke guinea pig. Would you like to come along? You look very brave to me. Okay, come and stand over here, my sweetie. Okay, what's your name?
Nifumi.
Nifumi. Can we have a big round of applause for Nifumi?